All right. Hello. So, welcome back to the Raptor Nest, everyone. Um, so today, I mean, I've done enough drawing, like enough art streams by now to know, for you guys to know by now that I really like art. I like really any kind of like digital or hands-on kind of art. I mean, like I've done paper drawings. Like I've done drawings on paper in the past, and I've done mostly digital stuff. Like you guys know that I use Clip Studio Paint, which I think is amazing, and somewhat easy to understand. But I actually used to use one on my iPad called Procreate. And that's like an even easier one to use. This the background you see behind you, like all the like the curtains and the windows and the well, everything you see right now except for my overlay and the desk I'm sitting at, that that is from Procreate. That I made it in Procreate. Uh, like my coffee totem right here, also made in Procreate. But no, my desk is like the desk is like a standard asset that I got, and the overlay was made by Jin Yifeng, who you remember from. I've played Among Us with her a few times, and I've played Valorant and League of Legends with her a few times too. But she also made this overlay that it's really great. But today I'm going to be showing you guys what my art used to look like. And all I'm going to say is I'm sorry for what you're about to see. Okay, so this is all of this, most of this actually is from when I, like, before I started streaming. And what you're seeing right here is actually the old thumbnail for my podcast, Dad and Boy. And I'm the one with the brown hair, and he's the one with the darker hair. And now, when I started this, before I got a better idea of how to draw like bodies and stuff, I well, before I got a better idea of how to draw at all, I didn't know what anything should look like really. Like if you look at my dad's neck, like in the Dark Souls armor, he clearly has like a neckline that almost looks like his neck is not attached to his body. It almost looks like it was just like placed on the body basically. But I know, and I've improved like over the years. Like I made this. Actually, no, I didn't make this a year ago. I made this. It'll almost be a year ago in a few months, but a lot of these I made before I had a better understanding of how to draw anything. And this picture was like, we're a gaming podcast, and we and I drew myself in like Halo armor. I drew him in Dark Souls armor, because those are the ones, like those are the games where we really started getting into video games, basically. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Oh, God. This is another one I had. This was the banner image for the Twitter account we had for the podcast. And you can see like where, and you can see like the shape of the heads is just like a circle. I wanted to give like a cartoonish feel, and I think I did a good job with that, but now that I know how to draw better, I just like cringe at this almost. But I still look back on all this stuff and I'm like, wow. Look how far I've come. Oh, and this one right here is for the... Okay, this was when... Oh, Primark. Hey, what up? Looks pretty good. A lot better than my stick figures. Thank you. I really need to fix the delay for chat. A lot better than my sticks. I'm sure your sticks look amazing. And I mean that, I'm not being sarcastic. Alright. So, this right here was actually for the... Looking back and cringing mean you've improved so good, Anya. Thank you. I mean it. Thanks, Primark. But anyways, so... What was I saying? Oh, wait, right, okay. Alright, so... Our first, like, main series on our podcast was Elden Ring. And, I don't... Well... I mean, I don't need to tell you guys what Elden Ring is, do I? But basically, there was a network test before the actual, like, finished release of the game. And I drew, like, ourselves, like, in the armor for the that the network test gave us. And it was like, so my dad's in, like, the Raging Wolf armor that you get from the... Where do you get the armor? No, it was in one of the classes for... It was in one of the classes for the network test. Yeah, that's it. It's a ring for the... It's a ring for the elderly, and the game is you working at assisted living. No, that's not what it is at all. That is not what the game is at all. It's Elden Ring, not Elder Ring. But anyways, that's funny, Primark. No. Okay, so I drew my dad in the Raging Wolf armor, which in the full game you actually get from the Volcano Manor questline. And I drew myself in the Enchanted Knight armor, which was like a really, really, like, heavily armored knight, that used a like a staff, like a magic staff for magic. Must have bought the wrong one. Oh yeah, you. If you wanted a game where you like worked at a retirement home, it's not Elden Ring. If you want a game that will make your life miserable, that's Elden Ring. And for this drawing, I don't like. I think you can see right here. Like the edges of the fur on the Raging Wolf armor is like not done right. And I also did not make the leaves in the Erd tree. Like all I did was like draw a squiggly line and just like fill it gold and make it transparent. Transparent, yeah. And obviously, like, you do way more. I do, like, I've learned to do, like, way more than that now. And I can make a pretty good tree, I feel like. Alright. Oh, this one. Oh, you know what? I actually do really like this one. So, I said Elden Ring was our first main series, but like our practice series, so to speak. So we could practice like recording, taking notes, and like so I could practice editing our audio. Was actually on Bloodborne. And Bloodborne is like a Lovecraftian I won't say steampunk, but it looks like it would take place in like a Victorian setting, but it's a horror game. It's a pretty spooky horror game. It's another Souls game, like Elden Ring. And for this thumbnail, I did. You know, I'm actually kind of satisfied with this. I mean, I'm sure if I did a redraw, it would look way better. But what I did here. Oh, sorry. I'm tired. But what I did here is I drew myself in like the hunter garb. I drew my dad in like the Canehurst Knight set. And then I drew the Bloodstarved Beast, the Cleric Beast, and Father Gascoigne. And those are like the first three major bosses in the game that you'll run into. And I basically just looked up images of what, like I don't remember exactly, but I think some of it might have been from memory, but basically what I did was I took a bunch of, oh nice, the Souls game. Wait, Souls games are definitely your type of games. Oh, Bloodborne. Bloodborne definitely scary AF with no knight tank class. Yes! That game is not one where you can tank damage. It is... sorry. It's like dodge, attack, kill, repeat, basically. And these beasts... wait, no. The drawing... Oh, thanks! The drawing perfectly conveys the medieval terror very well, too. Thank you! Thanks, Primarch. Crap, what... what was I saying? I basically drew a bunch of shapes on like a bunch of different layers and then filled them with color. I mean, I'm sure I mean, but if you notice, I didn't really draw... Wait a minute. Oh, I did draw fur on the cleric beast. You can just barely see it because I also drew clouds, like right behind it. And I basically like looked up images of what they looked like, but some of it is from memory. I probably could have added more detail of the sliced open skin on the blood-starved beast. And yes, that is what that is. I don't... Might have added some more like blood to Gascoigne. And like on ourselves. And I could have made the ribs in the cleric beast kind of darker too. Give them like a dark gray or something. I don't know. But next one, I almost did exactly that. So this was actually... Wait, no, it wasn't. So I actually did... Okay, so this drawing of the cleric beast was... Like, I looked it up a little more, probably because I had just fought him before we recorded this episode. Dark gray spookiness factor. Exactly, thank you. Probably because I probably remembered the cleric beast a bit better at this point when I drew this, probably because I fought it right before I drew this, and I drew it right before we recorded that episode. Whoops. And as you can see, like, this is a much better drawing. The cleric beast is way darker, and the fur is more obvious. It looks more like fur. And okay, the legs here. The one thing I struggle with as, like, when I'm trying to draw people or anything really, is limbs and legs. Well, let's see. The legs on the cleric beast. Okay, so yeah, you're supposed to make it obvious, like, where the thighs are in front of the shins? Why is it you like to cover the limbs with coats and capes? Because it's Bloodborne. This was these are armor sets from Bloodborne that I drew. But anyway, yeah, like that's what they look like when you're wearing them. So yeah, you're supposed to, like, make it clear where the shins are. Like, if the shins are further out than the thighs, or vice versa. And you can barely see it. Like, if you were looking on Spotify and you saw the thumbnail, I don't think you would see it at all. Like, you'd have to really look to see it. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I have gotten better at that. And this one... I've always liked this one. So if you've played Bloodborne, and if you've played the Old Hunters DLC, you know of the of what I'm gonna call the best boss in the whole game, Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower. and I didn't remember her, like, her appearance right off the top of my head, so I looked up an image of her, and this doesn't look too bad. I mean, I kind of did forget that when we find her in the Hunter's Nightmare, she like killed herself, and I had to, and, sorry, and I had to put, or I was supposed to put like blood on her. Well, I mean, on her like everywhere, because I think she's like sliced her throat. I don't know how she killed herself, just that she did, and ended up in the Hunter's Nightmare. But this was also best boss. Gonna be fighting words for some Souls fans. No, best boss in Bloodborne. I said. I think I said that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah. Lady Maria's like the best boss in Bloodborne, hands down. Or at least she's my personal favorite. If we're talking about the best boss in any Souls game, I will not say Melania, the Blade of Mikola, because that fight just sucked. But we'll get to that in this stream later. But anyways, I wanted to make this one like a comical like drawing for this episode that we recorded. And my technically can't save you, I'm sorry. No. Maria's the best boss in Bloodborne, Primarch. That's what I'm saying. Alright. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, no, yes. I want to make this one like a funny picture or drawing, and I think I did. Because this boss was also really, really hard. And, and I just imagine, like, because Maria's like this really, really badass swordswoman. And I just picture her like she's just bored fighting us. So I drew her like yawning with a horrendous mouth shape as she's just killing us at the same, like both of us at the same time. And I know now that like the head shape, like the shape of a head that you draw is supposed to look like this. Like how I have my head right now. Okay, no, if I were looking like this in this direction. Yeah, you know, you guys get the idea. You did a good job. She clearly had no trouble with you guys. She didn't. But I'm kind of shocked that fight only took 3 tries. I could not be more shocked. Because I remember fighting Lawrence the First Vicar. But we're just gonna go to the next one. We're just gonna go to the next one really quick, because that fight sucked. Oh, this one. Wait, how come this was... No, what? Never mind. Anyways. So, this one was for the second episode. The last one was for the third episode of our series. But this one was actually... Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah. Um, okay, so the big thing here, like, okay, so no, this picture is about us finding Vicar Amelia, who you could basically say that she is the true Bloodborne begins here fight. I mean, I feel like that's the best way to describe her, like in her fight. Except when I first in my first ever playthrough of Bloodborne, she was she was a pretty big gatekeeper for the rest of the whole game. Mostly because she heals herself. And I remember fights with her taking so damn long. Not the individual fights, but I died to her so many times. More than No, not more than Maria. um but in my last playthrough, I killed her on the first try. Which I cannot believe. I'll be back later to catch the rest. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine, Primarch. After some money made. Love the art, plus the reflective thoughts, so keep it up. Thank you, Primarch. Thank you. I mean it. Yeah, and you make your money. You go. Yeah, I don't mind. If you have a job, you do the job. That's yeah, no. I appreciate you stopping by. So thank you, Primarch. Where was I? But the big thing I did here in the blood was add these like 3D effects, which I showed a lot of these to my drawing teacher in college. And she actually told me that stuff like this would draw like any like if you were looking at it, your attention would be drawn down here instead of up here where the shadow of Amelia is. And that wasn't like, that's something that I learned to, like, if I wanted to put something like that, I put it on maybe like the characters or like the important locations in the background or anything, like, because in this drawing your focus should be the shadow, but it's probably going to be this down here, the blood, which, you know, it's called Bloodborne. Blood is pretty important in the game. So, I mean, that would make sense. But this blood is coming from Amelia as she's transforming into a beast. Pretty violently and horribly, might I add. Alright, moving on. Crap. Moving on. Oh yeah, this. Oh my god. Oh wow, that that is hard to look at. Alright, so the final like main game boss of Bloodborne is called the Moon Presence. Oh man, that is like not easy, like physically not easy on the eyes to look at. Okay, so when I made this in Procreate, I actually used a like a blur effect, almost like a motion blur effect. And I probably should not have, if I'm being honest. Because what I wanted to do was make like a shadow of the moon presence, like against the moon. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's like actually hurting my eyes. But I wanted to make like a shadow of the moon presence against the moon. And okay, without making this like too confusing to understand. The brighter a light is behind an object, the darker the shadow is going to be. So I didn't want to make. Okay, no, the darker the shadow of. You get the idea. The darker something is going to be looking at it from like in front of it. And that's what I wanted to do with the moon presence because like in the cutscene for that fight, it just descends from the blood moon. And then you like well there's a certain step in the game you have to take to fight it, but you fight it. And I didn't want to make this like transparent because then it would appear like it wasn't like it was hardly there at all. Except it is very much there. And I see now that the motion blur like effect I put on it is really not easy to look at. It is like it's almost making me nauseous. So I'm gonna move on. Oh, and this one is for like when we started our Elden Ring series. And it looks bad. I made myself okay, so both of our so I wanted to make it look like the basic like title drop page for Elden Ring. But at the same time, I tend to procrastinate with stuff like that. So I really just like use the colors for the background of the like of that very first title drop. And I just like haphazardly drew the Elden Ring behind us. Which, you know, it's not it's not like you know, you look at it and probably think that it was a pretty lazy design. So I'm moving on. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I don't. In our second episode, we talked about Stormvale Castle and fighting the one and only Godric the Grafted. Your first demigod fight. And you can see like what I did with the hair, with Godric's hair, is not at all like, it just doesn't look like hair, unlike the hair I drew for me and my dad. And the weapons that I drew that for us. Okay, so what Dad's supposed to be holding is the Bloodhound Fang, which is easily one of the best weapons in the whole game. And I'm supposed to be like holding a like I'm unsheathing a Uchigatana. And I think in this case well, okay, I could have done better, I think, but oh, you know what? The greaves right here. Alright, so before I made this, I had learned that like when you're drawing armor, like heavy armor, it's supposed to like stick out from the body, basically. And I guess I forgot about that when I drew this, so it just looks like leather armor of like a metal color, basically. And I want to move on. Oh, I do love this one though. All right, this one. All right, this one is for the episode where we talked about Liurnia of the Lakes, and I wanted, this is like another comical like drawing, basically. Just by the time we got to by the time we met Ronnie, Ronnie the Witch, we had just had to like fight through everything in the Carrion Manor. Glintstone Dragon Adula, like his first fight, if you see him like in the background there, and these giant hand spider monsters. Wait, what are they called? They're called finger creepers. Yeah, those. And I'm not too unsatisfied with this, honestly. It's like, I'll say it. It's like, I'll say it again. I could do better with what I know now, but this one, like, I think turned out pretty good. Probably because it's just funny. How both those are just like battered and bruised and bleeding from everywhere by the time we get to Ronnie, who's looking at us like, what the hell? Kind of wonder. I kind of wonder if I put Ronnie's like ghost face on the right side of her head. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But oh, this has to be my favorite one. Mostly because of the fight. Mostly because of like the fight that it's about. You know, General Radon, who held the sky captive. And the strongest of all the demigods, easily. So this one is pretty straightforward. I made the background and the landscape red because that fight takes place in Caelid, which is easily like, get me out of here right now. It's basically like a toxic. It's basically like the whole region is one big toxic lake. Well, not the whole region, but the whole place is just littered with like the scarlet rot, which is Elden Ring's equivalent of toxic. And what I drew here was the Radon Festival. And I drew all the characters that we were fighting with. I didn't draw them in like a Phantom looking style because it would have taken up like more. Wouldn't have taken up more time, but I wanted to like not be as lazy, basically. Wanted to put effort into it. And so we have, you can barely see Tragoth and Lionel. Lionel? Is that his name? That's his name. And I also made the eyes for us and these guys right here, like, way too bright. and I love this. I still like... Okay, so you can summon Patches for this fight. Patches the Untethered, who is a really funny, like, reoccurring character in the Souls games. You can summon him for this fight, but he immediately sees how big Radahn is and just bails. Which is hilarious. And I wrote all around it, nope, 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 just nope. But so we have, here's me, with the katana. That's me. That's my dad looking up to where Patches is running. That's Blythe, that this bigger one with like the blue glowing around, with the blue glow around his sword, is Blythe the half wolf. The dude with the hammer is Greathorn Tragoth. The dude in the guy in the chunky armor is Lionel Lionhearted. The guy with like the bloodied sword is Okina, who invades you later on. And the jar is easily one of my favorite characters. Along with Blythe, actually, is Warrior Jar Alexander. Iron Fist Alexander. And I won't spoil anything for you guys, but the one sitting on top of him is Finger Maiden Therlina. And she is very important during this fight because she actually just runs around healing everyone while you're fighting Radahn. Which, you know, if you've ever fought him, you know that you're not in for a good time. Well, that's not true, unless you really know how to fight him, because you can easily cheese him after your first playthrough. Every time I've fought Radahn and just killed him with almost no effort, it's been like, what? Really? Like, how did I do this? And then I remembered that I either have like the Scarlet Rot Dragon Breath, or I have like stupid powerful magic on my side. So next one. Oh, I love this one too. Alright, so this episode that I did this drawing for was actually like when we were talking about like stuff that we thought we missed before going up to the Altus Plateau. And one of those things was the fight with Lich Dragon Fortisax. The fight with Lich Dragon Fortisax, which is not a bad fight. I mean, it was a really cool fight. It was a dragon fight. And Elden Ring easily has some of the best dragon fights in all the other Souls games. But he has what's called... Actually, no, he does have Death Lightning. Aptly named Death Lightning. But for some reason he also has like Ancient Dragon's Lightning, which is red. And for some reason I forgot that and just made it like an orange gold color, basically, like make it look like glowing. But really all I did for that was like scribble with the neon pen, and it could look worse, honestly. You can see that. I mean, if you know Elden Ring, you know you could probably tell what this fight was, right? I mean, but that's not the point. But yeah, it's this one. This one was better than most. Uh. All right, and this one. And this one is like, I mean, you if you guys know Elden Ring, like, you know who this guy is. Rykard, the Lord of Blasphemy. The big snake guy. Which is like, I honestly, like, I wish, like, okay, so the haphazard effort I put into a lot of these drawings is mostly because I was editing audio for the episode that we drew this for, and it was going up, like, the next day, and I had no art for it. So, yeah, that's why a lot of this looks like just like nope. That's another reason we're only uploading every other week now. Not for the art, but so I don't feel like pressured to edit audio or something like that. But yeah, that's just, yeah. This one was pretty simple. If you look on my dad's gauntlets, I did remember that armor sticks out from the body. For that time. But I kind of messed up the Elden Ring. Like in the, like for, like the way it is like on the gates, on the doors of the Erd Tree. And yeah, that was that's another like procrastination thing, just like no effort. I do like this one though. Alright, so this one is a drawing of Melania, the Blade of Mikola, who I'm gonna say needs no introduction. And basically, so I don't know of any other boss in any other Souls game, with the exception of Ishin the Sword Saint from Sekiro, that gave me so much damn problems. Because I hated every second of fighting this one. I hated literally every second that I was fighting Melania. And I remember clearly how many tries it took because I was counting it for the sake of taking notes and stuff to remember. It was 127 tries. Now, what's shocking to me is that it didn't take way more. But anyways, I felt like drawing her was pretty simple. Way easier than fighting her. I didn't draw like where her neck would be though. Like where her neck would be, I didn't draw like the collar of her. Well, she was wearing like a cape though, so that was like over her neck. But I just drew like her basically carrying us to the to the hospital while we're all like just messed up and sick from the scarlet rot, which is like those red what do you call that? That's the scarlet rot, like coming off of us. And honestly, this one didn't turn out too bad. I mean, I've learned to add way more detail to anything that I draw. Oh no, this last one. Oh god. Oh man, why everything excuse me. This was for the very last episode of our Elden Ring series after we fight Horalu and before we fight Radagon the Elden Beast. I should not have added the ocean blur the motion blur effect, and I don't want to look at it anymore. Alright, last one. This is not a new artwork. This was actually a project for Call It. For like my very first... This was actually for my very first... Sorry, I'm tired. I slept in. Why am I so tired? But this was for my very first project in my design class. And I didn't get a very good grade on it. I mean, because it's a college level class. It's not like a middle school art class where your teacher will yell at you if your art sucks. But yeah, the main focus of this project was actually lines. And as you can see, the lines, they don't look too great. I wanted to make it look like an eye. The lines are supposed, like, the main lines I used was cross stitching. Cross stitching, is that what you call it? I don't know. I don't. But yeah, like, I wanted to like make the cross stitching more, like I wanted to make it thicker, where it was supposed to be darker. But at the same time, I added some like a spray paint or an airbrush thing, and which was not like the point of the project. You can see like at the bottom here is where I kind of messed up with it, because the layer that this was supposed to be on was masked, but I undid it to fix something and I didn't redo it. So I made a mistake there. This was another like procrastination thing. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's... I mean, and you've seen... I mean... So yeah, that was my very old digital art, and you guys have seen like my art streams. You guys know how I've improved. Like detail, shading, just effort basically. And honestly, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's like the art that I do now is, well, obviously it's digital, but I also do like my model paintings, like for like my Warhammer model paintings and stuff. And speaking of which, my next one is going to be Abaddon the Despoiler, but that'll be a week from today. And I'm really excited for that, because now I'm drawing. Now I'm gonna paint like a model that's not like an Imperium model. Want to switch things up. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Be sure to check out my Twitter and join my Discord for content updates and my weekly schedules. I wasn't sure what game to play on Friday, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Hades. Because it's been a while since I played that. And check out the podcast with my dad too. On Spotify. And I have a pretty good idea for a Halloween stream, because that's like on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Which is actually like the week of Halloween, also like doing like painting the model of the leader of chaos. Which yeah, that'll be fun. I'm really excited about doing that. And yeah, I think that's all I got right now. So, as always, thank you so very much for watching. All of my stuff will be in the description below, including the music, including credit for the music and for my overlay by Jin. And I think that's about it. So yeah, I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on Friday. So goodbye.